And we are live with another broadcast here at the Roofing on the Rise Studios. We are sponsored by Roofing Supply Incorporated here in the Houston marketplace, where you can get your shingles from me anywhere from little to small to big, to large. We ship them all. I will ship a can of spray paint. I mean, I'll bring you a can of spray paint, but anyhow, like I'm saying, man, I've been hitting on it for the last couple of days. One shingle, 1,000 squares. I got you. Hit me up, 210-919-8987. West Group Public Adjusting. We are also sponsored by them. They are an amazing public adjuster all over the place. They provide amazing umpire and appraisal work, and they go the distance for their clients. West Group Public Adjusting has been a proud supporter of the Roof Dawn for quite some time now. We are also sponsored by RepCard, amazing business, a digital business card that would catapult you into a new era. Literally revolutionizes the way in which that I do business. If you're looking for an amazing business card, RepCard is the way to go. And today is an amazing day. Got a lot of speakers that are just absolutely keeping it hot and heavy. So we are blessed to have Randman on today. How are you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing amazing. Definitely. I like how you do that baked in marketing for your sponsors. You know, it's a difference from having it the commercials, and it's one thing to bake it into your broadcast. So hopefully they appreciate that you do it right at the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. At the beginning and at the end, and sometimes during the middle. Um, I
I
find it
think
very
12
important.
minutes is like the sweet spot. I think like 12, 13 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is, man. I'm very very thankful for our sponsors. Roofing Supply Incorporated has sponsored this broadcast from the very beginning. So I didn't have to worry about running out and purchasing any kind of supplies. Roofing Supply Incorporated put me in this studio and just asked that I come and use it and help bring on more clients. And that's what has came on to my career here. And Roofing Supply Incorporated really been taken off here recently, which is awesome. Quoted about close to $3 million worth of shingles in the last week. I'm very humbled to be able to do that. And that's why I said, if you've got one shingle or you got a couple thousand squares of shingles, a lot of people can't get that many shingles right now because we're getting close to a time period in which that was like COVID. And people don't really want to talk about that. It's kind of on the hush hush right now. Allocations. It's definitely coming. It's not here yet, but you can feel the squeeze with your distribution right now. And I know it's true. So if you're looking for a few thousand squares of shingles, I've got you. I can get it, and would love to develop a relationship with you to be able to make that happen. Those types of jobs are definitely forces to be reckoned with and need to be handled with kid gloves, and that's what we do because we're privately owned. It's freaking awesome. But yeah, West Group, I've been friends with Jamie for quite some time before we even, I even, asked for his help. And then, that's all he really did for a few years is just help me understand and help to educate me on a lot of things that, I didn't know. Like I really wanted to see, hail on like this commercial property. And he's just like, bro, it's just not here, man. It's just not here. And I respect that out of people, out of professionals, at a PA level, you can do a lot of things and you can and try to get away with a lot of things just because you have a license. And what I love about him and his company is that, he stands behind his word. It's his name and that has gotten him where he needs to go. So, yeah, all the sponsors that I have, like I'm very selective about sponsorship. RepCard again, just gone the distance, like, has provided a platform for me to be able to help out and really take charge of the lead. Like, that's something that a lot of sales reps have a problem with, understanding like how to gain access to that lead and to control it, and to control that data. And that's what RepCard allows you to do, is control the data. You control name, number, address, email, and more. There you can do. But here's what I think is amazing. This podcast, people can click on this podcast, and most of the times I have a link to the RepCard there somewhere. And if you are on my podcast, then it means that you've scheduled a link with me. Well, you're going to get a copy of this RepCard once we're done. So as soon as we're done, it'll send you a text message and it'll send you an email. And in that email and text message, it should have a link. So click that link. It'll pop up my RepCard. It is an amazing card. We've got a video that I produced there for Fair Claims Roofing. Again, big shout out to Justin O'Neill and Fair Claims Roofing. That was an amazing video I was able to produce there. And you can do business with me off that card. You can place an order to RSI through me directly through that card. You can get onto the board of Houston Area Roofing Contractor Association or Roofing Contractor Association of Texas by just clicking join now. It's awesome being able to do that. So yeah, man, I really do. I hold it close to my heart. I hold those really, really close to my heart. I really do believe in those things. So that's why they're up there. I really, really do appreciate you seeing that, like taking notice of that. Not a lot of people do.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's funny how the world is backwards. Like when you think of the bartering system, like not actually trading a currency for something, but trading value for value. A lot of times when you would see that in like older movies or something like that, it's usually the less fortunate people that don't have a lot of money that are doing the barter system. But from what I observe, the higher up you move up in society, social economically, the higher up you move, the more the barter system exists. Of course, money is being made, but you're doing things for different people on this level, not expecting money. Now, money comes, but it's not. I didn't just do this just for money. I wanted to broadcast everything. So now it's good that you got relationships like that, and you got that company guarantee, that big or small, we'll bring it all. And a lot of people don't know how significant just stating your company guarantee so explicitly like that on a platform like this. That's one of the things that, because when I help people, it's not just financial coaching, but it's financial coaching, business coaching, and life coaching. And having that guarantee that you put out there, it really does help differentiate a lot of companies from somebody who essentially does the same thing that you do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly. And I want to give a big shout out to you and your background today, because that is that's a tribute to cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very big movie buff, so I really do appreciate that.
Oh yeah, man. Groundhog Day, Boomerang, Bill Murray, Groundhog Day. The first person to make it cool to have a morning routine. If you notice, everything he did in the morning was exactly the same. It's what he did after 12 that would switch up a little bit. So now, I mean, I like the movies that break down. The Boomerang, Eddie Murphy, him actually showing. I remember it wasn't until I was an adult that I realized the reason why they called the movie Boomerang is because the gender roles were completely switched. I didn't realize that until I was like, oh, it makes sense.
I've never seen that movie, so I'm gonna have to go back and
check it out, man. It's an amazing movie,
dude. That's I think that's pretty awesome. I just gonna throw it out there. It's super important, that you brand yourself in the right way, and that you assert yourself on the platforms in the proper manner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I'm a big promoter of, and I practice it in my own life. I have my own social media strategy. I don't claim to be perfect, but it's progress, right? And I also want to clarify, RSI and West Group are huge financial supporters as well. So
let's get that clear.
Let's be very clear.
No, see, here's the thing: you choose who
huge.
I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and that's what I was saying. Listen, no, we make don't get it twisted.
Oh yeah.
If you see me in close proximity with the same people on a regular basis, we're making money together.
Yes.
But it was a choice.
120%.
I chose to make money with this person because I'm gonna make money with somebody regardless. I chose to make money with these people, and they chose to make money with me.
Yes, 120%. Yeah, I absolutely love hanging out with the people here. So, like, you know, what drew me to RSI honestly was a friend of mine originally, Darren Kennedy, God rest his soul. It was an amazing man, and just brought a lot of people together. And after he passed, I just, you know, doing business with him and doing business with the RSI was synonymous with each other. RSI is a local company, and so I've always been about local business and giving back to local community. And so, you know, I did business with RSI as a contractor. I was a contractor for over 11 years. And you know, it's humbling to look back and know that now I've got a different take on things. I was there for 11 years, and now that qualifies me more to be able to speak to people and help them understand, help them with their distribution, or help them with their claims. You know, I'm not a PA. I don't mess with the claims, but I know that as soon as somebody calls me and he's like, dude, X state, because there's like 5 of them, messed up my claim, okay? Or you know, X, you know, insurance. There you go. X Mutual. And it's like, okay, I know exactly who I send them to, right? And if they're like in Florida or something like that, you know, I have an awesome referral system outside of that. West Group takes care of those clients in a way that just is different. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't understand moisture as much as I do now. And West Group helped me understand moisture and what it does to underlayments and walls and, dude, sheetrock and everything. Like, you name it, they've just gone the distance. It's freaking awesome. But I'll get off the sponsors, because not a lot of people like to just sit here and listen to sponsor stuff.
But yeah, anyway. Man. And depending on what they heard, you talking about moisture to underlayments and walls, man. I thought this was a conservative broadcast, man. What are you going with this?
So let's jump deep into you know, you talked about like mindset, right? Yes. So you jumped into like routine, stuff like that. But really what I want people to understand is I want people to understand who you are, right? So yeah, explain to me, you know, who you are and what you do.
Well, I started in the insurance and financial services industry back in 2010. So, you know, early 20s, right? And it was one of those things to where I'm going to do this until I'm going to do insurance until a cool job comes along, right? It just so happens that until hasn't happened yet, because the more I learn, the more I know that I don't know. And the more I know, the more I practice, because practice doesn't make perfect, it just makes better. The more I see that I have a knack for these things, taking overly complicated things and making them simple. So I was an agent for over 7 years. Then I became an independent adjuster, ran around the Southeast region, even worked some claims in New York. I was one of less than 1% of independent adjusters who actually have a New York license. Ask your independent adjuster friends if they have New York. Only 1 out of 100 will say yes. But those were some things. That's what I saw and observed, and I got it in order to differentiate myself. I became an insurance appraiser, specializing in Florida and helping out with a lot of, I'll go ahead and say it, State Farm claims. When I was an agent, I was an agent for State Farm. I'm one of those people that I believe in having conversations. I was able to make moves and get appraisals closed very fast for a very high settlement amount because I had relationships with these people, because I knew how to talk without hitting certain trigger words, things that would make them recoil. I just avoided those words. I said the words that made the claims and the appraisals, at that time the appraisals go through. And so it got to the point to where I'm helping these contractors, and the sales, the owner never said this, right? Because, owners, I think they're good about, making sure to keep the people, their vendors and everything at a decent level. But the salespeople would say, bro, do you realize that not only are you closing these appraisals in less than a month, but you're closing them at a higher than we've ever gotten from people who were taking 4, 5, 6 months. Oh, I said, oh, really? Right. And then it just so happened, one of my attorney colleagues said, you should think about becoming a public adjuster. And within 2 weeks, I had my public insurance adjuster's license. And then, and I made a splash in that. One thing that I noticed from going from independent adjuster, or from agent, independent adjuster, insurance appraiser, public adjuster, and now I do a lot of consulting with public insurance adjuster companies and contractors. A lot of the people in our industry, they're the first ones in their family to ever make over $100,000 in 1 year. And what that means is your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your grandmother, your grandfather, that usually gives you the best advice. They can give you their best advice about money and it still be the wrong advice. So you making $100,000, $250,000, $500,000 in 1 year and it's gone. Once I saw in that market what was missing, people like, why are you so cool? Why are you so calm? Why are you able to wait all these months for the insurance company to settle? It's because I'm not dependent on that money. I set myself up to where continuous tax-free income is going to be coming in for the rest of my life. And I said, all right, I need to teach people that. And that's how I got from there to where I'm at now with Shield Wolf Strongholds.
Nice. Yeah, we might want to talk.
Oh, definitely.
Most definitely. So, and I'll just be honest with you, just be patient with me, because like I got a lot going on. You know what I mean? It's got lots going on.
That's what you call good problems.
Yeah, it is. Actually, it is. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot, man. Fuck, that's a lot to digest. So let's go in on licensing, right? So it's got like a wide variety of spots that you've been at. New York being like chief among licensing states, as well as Louisiana and California. Not to mention you have to deal with the mob, but I lived
just
in Waterbury.
A side note.
Listen, I lived in Waterbury, Connecticut. Okay, so I know what it is.
You can speak on it. I got you.
Yeah, I can speak on it a little bit. I did tons of roofs in Sandy Hook, Connecticut. There was a New Colony Diner. It's like right in the middle of New Haven, and there's another town right on the other side of it, on the side of the highway. I forgot what it is. Anyway, New Colony Diner. I could spend $25 every single time I sit down. I know it's $25, tip and everything. Mm-hmm. I'm having a good Philly cheesesteak, some home fries, Dr. Pepper. I got to-go buys. And every now and then they'll include a cannoli. So like it's different. It's just different there. But anyway,
I was surprised at how many trees were like. I'm from the South, and when I got that deployment to New York, I'm thinking New York City, right? I was surprised how many trees and how many rural looking areas are up there.
Yeah, it's very political too. So when you get into insurance claims, even they're very political about claims, especially Democrats. I go on and on about how each party handles claims. It's really, really different in the Northeast. But I feel like the Northeast they handle like politics completely different. They hold it like really close to the chest. And people in the South do too, but I don't think they hold it anywhere close to like Northeasterners do. Like, just saying. But anyway,
You saying
so
you never know exactly where their true motivations or sentiments lie? Is that what you're saying?
100%.
Got it. Until they don't give you the job. I got you. Be like, that was a
Well,
great conversation.
or you may get the job and then they go gangster on you. I mean, they're
Mm,
just, there's a lot of there's a lot of variables up there. But I think the best thing, like I think the thing that I enjoyed the most about that area was the requirements that they had on building code. And so because of those requirements, it meant that I had to charge more for my job, right? And if you're freaking listening, please open your ears because I just gave you a golden nugget on how to do your business better whenever we have licensing in Texas, and it's going to happen. Um, you charge more. So I could charge more, and thus the Xactimate pricing is higher, right? So I'm up in, let's just say Fairfield, which is kind of south, but anyway, uh, I'm still getting a good price per square, like $850 for a laminate shingle. Okay. Like the prices for shingles, $25 maybe difference, like the point system. It's probably about 8 or 9 points higher, right? So spreads a little bit bigger up there, but you're still at an ungodly amount price per square. And if you have your labor down right, you can make a lot of freaking money, or you can make a lot of people happy, which
yeah.
means you'll make a lot of money eventually, right? Like
Hmm.
you just got to think about it in a different way. But let's reel it back here from the Northeast. I love podcasting. Um, so the licensing, the reason why we talked about this is because they've got such a heavy requirements for contractors.
Hmm.
You have to have a license, and in each municipality, you got to pull a permit, and that you have to go by the IRC of that area, right? What they've adopted. Now, in Florida, you have to have a license, and you have to do the same shit, right? But the way in which they do things is completely different than up in the Northeast. Okay. To California, same thing, right? Completely different requirements. California is like the furthest left that you can go. I feel like you got to have like, internships and all
Literally.
kinds of shit to like just be a contractor. I think that's a lot. Um, what is your take on like what's the healthy medium there, right? Like, should we be as gangsters New York and bring the mob in after you get your license? Should we be like Florida where we require 4 or 5 fucking inspections? Good God. Or should we be more like California, or do we need to be like something like in the middle, like nationwide?
Well, it's one of those things to where it's funny how like you said, every state is different, and this world is full of ironies. But especially in the United States, we call it the United States, but insurance is different state to state. Building code is different state to state. That being said, to me, it seems like each state is going off of its branding when it comes to how they treat licensing. When I'm in Texas, I still remember the first time I was in Texas, and typically when in the areas where I'm from, you have to go about 5 exits before you see the same big box store, like 5 exits before you see another Walmart, or
Right.
5 exits before you see another Costco. Texas, you see it on every exit, right? So it's just so many people that need servicing, and their branding is everything is big in Texas. I'm thinking like, all right, we got to service all these people. We got all this stuff moving. Let's just let them get a license, get it done. It's the Wild Wild West. If they give them a wrong roof, the homeowner will shoot them, right? Or if you know up north, I remember I deal, I would deal with a lot of snowbirds here in Florida, so they
Right.
were retired
Yep.
or up north residents. But just
Yep.
like you said, it starts out so nice and friendly, but then once the money starts moving around, that's when that gangster comes out. And me, I observed this a long time ago. What I used to do is I used to sell insurance at a point over the phone across the country. And of course, I'm a native Southern man, so we always say please, thank you, sir, yes,
Not
ma'am.
about that up there.
I still remember when they opened up our department to start speaking to people from New York, that area.
Yeah.
And the women on the team were crying by the end of the day because
Yeah.
all those pleasantries, let me get
that
straight
ain't.
to the point. And I felt like even when I was having conversations with them, I felt like I was being mean. Like I truly felt like, based off of the
Yeah.
way I normally talk to people, I felt like I was being mean and rude. But then by the end of the call, they would say thank you, hang
Yeah.
up, business transacted. So to
Yeah.
answer your question, I think there is a happy median. I'm still baffled that Texas has no licensing at
Yeah.
at all. But once again,
Yeah. And you
I think
both.
it's one of those. I think it's the Wild West brand. Let this
Oh, I
business.
know it's the Wild West brand. We
You see what I'm
fucking.
saying?
That's how gangster we are. We're like, laws. What are those? Rules?
We don't need no laws.
Out of here. We are Texans. We don't do
Mhm.
that shit. And you're right. Like it's the Wild Wild West, and it's been termed the Wild Wild West for a very long time. And it's like, where do I go to get away with some shit? I'm gonna go to Texas.
That's
I'm gonna go,
or at
I'm gonna
least
get away
try
with
to
some
get
shit.
away with it.
Just like shit is unjust, bro. Like, what the fuck is
You
going
know what
on
I'm
here?
saying? You can go to Texas to try to get away with something. That's when you realize that bulge in their pants didn't mean they were happy to see you. Nah, that was a firearm, sir.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
one thing, like I say, most people that I've encountered in Texas, the nicest people you would ever meet. I
yeah,
have some of my mentors are from Texas. I know their time is valuable. I know their time is worth at least $500, $1,000 an hour. I've seen their invoices, but
yeah.
they're talking to me for hours for nothing. But once again, when stuff goes down, you want some Texan friends. Definitely, you want some Florida friends too.
Yeah, 100%. You need somebody from New York too, because you need to
Yeah.
know how to get down and
Now
how
you
to
need
do it in a
the
different
people from
way.
New York. They just gonna take their fig off the top. Whatever the settle is, that's my fig. Yeah, yeah.
That's the roof Don. That's where he came out right there. I'll be honest with you. Walking the streets of Connecticut drunk as hell at night. Get up in the morning and go to work. There's people don't like understand. I went sober like 3 years ago, and people don't understand why. Like the Northeast will go up there and fucking spend a winter and come back and tell me what you think about it.
Mm.
Right? Go up there, fucking, it doesn't matter. Like, but don't do it sober and then come back and tell me what you think about it. Because most people can't do it sober, bro. It's like a winter up in the Northeast. Like if you're in Connecticut, Waterbury, Connecticut or Fairfield, Connecticut, like those are two harsh places in the Northeast, known for their crime and the desperation of humanity. You can see it on the streets there.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The opiate crisis is huge, absolutely huge there. And I was able to, like, people. Yeah, that is why I'm sober now, because I think, man, the life was just different. It's hard, and people have nothing better to do than grab a nip and get, just start the day off. And then bam, next thing you know, these people are, I mean, I was drunk all day almost, and it just like brought me to this place. Like it was so dark. Thank God I'm like out of that. Those people that are struggling with alcohol and drug addiction, you need somebody to talk to. The rep card is generally on every single one of these. You can click that and call me or message me, throw me a DM here, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you. Just don't jump in my DM like you're trying to sell me something. Definitely come in and say, hey, I need somebody to talk to, and I'll try to get with you immediately. Do know that super, super busy, and as soon as I get it, you're going to have my full attention. Like as soon as I see it, you got me. And I'll be there for you. I actually had a website back when MySpace was big, right? God,
And that was a while ago.
forget MySpace. And I had a page that was directly just for suicide prevention, and you know, I think I'm gonna do that again. That's something that's on my heart. Mental health is a big deal. So, but anyhow, MySpace, I had a whole, MySpace was cool because you had like, no shots, Zuck. I really love Facebook. But you could like throw music on the back in like a background and like, you know what I mean? Like it was like all animated and stuff.
Nah, some people had their pages pimped out, man. Like, wow,
Telling you.
this is what's possible.
Yes, bro. Like MySpace was definitely the original Facebook. You know what I mean? Like that's where you would go and just chill. But anyway, so let's get back into the mindset, right? Because like mindset's huge. You've accomplished a lot of awesome things. And so what I'd like to understand, and a lot of viewers too would more than likely love to understand what type of mindset that you employ to accomplish the goals that you accomplish. So let's just say going into entrepreneurship, right?
Mhm.
What's your mantra? What's your mindset for that?
Well, when you speak of going into entrepreneurship, definitely you have to realize what is the difference between what you were doing with this W-2 employee, and that W-2, that's a type of tax form that you do if you're working for somebody typically, and then a 1099, someone who is either independent contracting or own their own business, right? So the way it was explained to me once. Now, keep in mind, the person that was explaining this to me was sitting in the cubicle right next to me. So you might have to take his advice with a grain of salt, right? But the way he explained it to me is no matter what education that you have, when you first start with the company, what they want you to know based off of their standard operating procedures and principles and practices is up here, and what you know is right here. It's up here, and what you will know about their specific principles and practices is down here. So essentially, they're paying you your salary. Let's say your salary is $20 an hour. They're paying you $20 an hour to know nothing, right? And as the time goes, that $20 an hour incrementally goes up, right? I still remember when it was normal to get a 25-cent raise. Like, oh, what's your rate? Oh, I got 20. Oh, I got 75 cents. Oh, great, right? So your salary is incrementally going up, whereas your knowledge on what it takes to do their standard operating procedures and practices is going up exponentially. So
Right.
eventually what happens is what they're paying you compared to what you know is a lot less to what you know, right? But to them, it makes sense because the trade off was I was paying you when you knew nothing. So now that you know more than what we need you to know, the trade off is now I'm paying you less than what you're worth. When you start as an entrepreneur, your compensation is directly connected to what you know. You start out here, and what you know is here. If what you know is zero, and what you're making $0, but as you go up as an entrepreneur, your salary, your income, your return on your investments are going up exponentially with your knowledge. As long as somebody can get past that those first 2-3 years and understand the value of aligning yourself with somebody who is where you're at, you'd be surprised how long it takes people to realize it's okay to ask the seasoned people questions. Because what you find out really fast is the people who are in a scarcity mindset and or don't know what they're talking about, they're the ones that's not telling you nothing. The people who really know what's going on, the people who are really successful in the industry that you want to be in, they're going to share information freely. And once again, it's because of what they know. The mindset of the more I give, the more I get back. You spoke earlier about your religion, your beliefs. One thing about the Bible is no matter what you believe, pay attention to the principles that it's saying. It says it's more blessed to give than to receive. What they're letting you know is a universal truth. Whether you're growing crops, whether you're trying to go somewhere, if you're trying to grow crops, you got to put seeds and water in first, and then you get the crops. If you're trying to drive somewhere, you got to put gas in first, right? So it's one thing is about it is understanding that your investment in the beginning, your investment comes first as an entrepreneur. Then you reap the benefits. That's the mindset that once you start there, everything else starts coming together, because then you can apply it toward farming. You can apply it toward building science principles. All truths are parallel. Once you realize that, you can start applying those truths in other industries to your life as an entrepreneur, and you'll go to the top. No time flat.
Speaking of going to the top, big shout out to Houston Millennials, where we like to see you at the top. That's our thing. That's the mantra is I'll see you at the top.
Cool.
It's the Houston Millennials is a organization and efforts to place millennials in places of power and influence. And so if you're a Houston native and you are looking for an exclusive, we're not talking about BNI. I'm talking about the rooms that you dream to be in. The first one starts in a room like this. So jump on whenever I post the Houston Millennials. Definitely go and check that out and go to our next event, right? And I'm actually about to start getting involved with this. Got a business committee meeting going on Tuesday, I believe. So I think I'm going to join that committee and then join the board. Maybe, I don't know. I think it's very important to give back to the community, and a part of it is I support Ivan Sanchez not because of his political standing, but because of what he's doing in my community.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as much as we go about our daily lives and we believe in one way or the other, I believe in people that are making a difference. And Ivan's really being able to do that right now, and I see that, and it really, really touches my heart seeing the stuff that, like, this guy is absolutely everywhere and he gives his heart for the city, and I really, really do appreciate it. Big shout out Ivan Sanchez. Man, you're going places. Definitely the top, that's for sure. But man, I want to go into claims a little bit. What's your thoughts of UPA, unauthorized practice of public adjusting, the ramifications of UPA on contractors, and where you think the place is for UPA?
I think overall, it's just another way to separate people, another way to vilify people, right? We all need help, and there are nowhere near as many public adjusters as needed to help the people that are here. That being said, I think the people who choose to help contractors who choose to help people with their claims should feel an obligation to consult with an expert when it comes to this. And it just so happens that experts, when it comes to claim handling, are public insurance adjusters. We consult experts on everything else.
Yeah.
Why not consult an expert when it comes to this? Now, that being said, not all public adjusters charge on a contingency basis. You have public adjusters that are able to charge on flat rates. You don't have to engage a public adjuster for the entire process. Maybe you might find a public adjuster that you know that's good at documenting or whatever, put together your sworn proof of loss for you and your client, for your mutual customer, right? And that public adjuster might just do that at a flat rate for you. Now, at the very least, you started the statutory clock in the right way. Now, if it gets out of hand, then maybe you might engage that public adjuster or another public adjuster or an attorney from there. But at least you successfully started the statutory clocks in the right way. So I think OOPL overall is just a way to vilify people who are trying to help the insured. But that being said, if you are going to be quasi handling claims as a contractor, you want to. I think you should consult an expert when it comes to handling claims.
That's an extremely political way in which to put that.
I don't know. I thought I was straight up front. Oh, did it seem like I was?
You were, but that ending statement was fucking so political. I love it, bro. So get this. I
mean, I hang around too many attorneys, man.
I know. I could tell.
It depends.
What? So listen.
That's their favorite. That's the attorney's favorite. It depends. Like.
Yeah, bro. So that's why, like, I'm real selective on who I let in my life, and so Jamie is the expert, the PA that I go to, West Group Public Adjusting. And man, I'll tell you what, when it comes to claims, like you said, you really need someone that you can call and just like, hey man, this is what's going on. What do you suggest? A lot of times, a PA is going to tell you the truth, and if he's a good PA or if she's a good PA, she's going to advise or he's going to advise in a way in which that is going to benefit the client, right? And then it's not just going to be like, okay, well, I can take, up to 10% on this or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and start it out the gate, right? And like if they have a heart, if they care and they know their claims, they're going to tell you whether or not it should be a public adjuster file or they should be an appraisal, what it should be doing, like what really this claim, where it fits in the whole scheme of things and where it would best benefit the client and how it would best benefit them. That's how I started to really break through. I knew a lot of claims and I dealt with a lot of claims. Thankfully, this was before unauthorized practice of public adjusting, and so, yeah, there's a reason why they call me the Roof Don. It is not because, I look like a gangster. It's because I act like a gangster with the insurance companies, and I do not take no for an answer. You look at some of the claims that I have written up, and you'd be blown away, bro. Like, wait, you're a contractor, and you were writing that up? Like, man, you're fucking skirting some fucking lines there, baby. And now we're skirting lines, but freaking 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, I wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's a wild, wild west, baby. It's freaking Texas. You know what I mean? But, people in areas that like public adjuster that I'm not versed in, they're going to not only show you what's right by the client, but they're going to show you how to make more money too.
Oh yeah.
And that's something that not a lot of people like really understand, right? Like, oh, I don't want to use a public adjuster because of whatever. And it's just like, oh, just think about giving a claim over to someone that's all that they do. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
All they do is talk to insurance companies,
Yeah.
develop relationships, all that stuff. That's all they do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. My favorite people are the people that I encounter that they're very smart in their field. Like they're very smart and in their field, in most fields, being smart is all you need. Like once you start getting to the cerebral type of fields, like the IT and all of that stuff, right?
Yes.
But what I like to explain to them, because usually by the time these smart people come back around, they've been fighting using logic for 7, 8, 9 months, right? And then
Yeah.
finally they reach out to a public adjuster, right? And the funny thing is being smart isn't enough. You want to deal with
Oh, yeah.
somebody who deals with it on a regular basis to understand how they typically pull smart people out of their goal. You can pull somebody who thinks they're smart or not out of their goal just by saying one thing. Now you're talking about something that has nothing to do with your original point. Whereas a public adjuster, a lot of the ones that I hang out with anyway, we're going to stick to that point. We're going to
Yeah.
quickly answer the asinine or arbitrary question, whichever A word you want to go with, real quick, and then we're going to get right back to the point. Whereas 9 months later, this logical thinker is thinking that, all right, I'm making my point on this side, and it's nowhere near your goal. You're doing everything you can to capture a
Put it this
person's
way.
queen on the chessboard instead of paying attention to the king right there.
Let's put it this way. You it's literally saying, "Hey, give me the scalpel. I'm going to go ahead and do my own open heart surgery." I don't
Mm.
You know what? Give me an estimate. Could you give me an estimate for that open heart surgery, please? Yeah, you know what? Let me get 3 other estimates. You know what? Fuck this open heart surgery. I'm just gonna eat some fucking tacos and a couple of burgers, and I'll just let it fester for about 7 months. And then I'm gonna say, hey, could I get the best heart surgeon, please?
Mm.
After I fucking paid so much money to fuck around and do it myself and cut myself up and trash myself, that now I got to pay somebody to pick the pieces up and put it together.
Great
And I'm going to
metaphor.
be real fucking clear because I've had contractors badmouth PAs, and I'm not going to say which PAs, but I'll tell you out there that there's good PAs and there's bad PAs. There's good lawyers, there's bad lawyers, there's good contractors, there's bad contractors. More often times than not, I have met more good public adjusters than bad. And here's the thing is that you don't have the full story. You don't know
Mm.
what the fuck's going on. Take a step back and get the whole freaking piece of the pie, because if you're sitting there cutting yourself up and trying to be your own heart surgeon, and then you give the scalpel over to the surgeon and expect for him to be able to put it together like as if it was the blank canvas, you are fooling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fooling yourself. So guess what? He'll put a stent in, but he can't freaking change that heart out. It ain't happening. You're gonna put a stent in and it's gonna get on. And you're gonna get through that claim. But it ain't gonna be like when you started it to begin with.
Oh yeah,
Right?
man. That's an amazing metaphor, and what you're talking about is the difference between specialists and
Yes.
generalized knowledge. Like if you want to know the overall
Yes.
value of generalized knowledge, look at the average salary of a college professor.
Yeah.
That's the overall value of
Yeah.
generalized knowledge. Specialized knowledge is where it's at, and even in that metaphor that you use, you don't see that heart surgeon going out setting broken bones.
Nope.
You don't see that heart surgeon going out delivering babies. That heart surgeon is only
Yep.
doing one thing, which is what they specialize in. They have a team of people, from the nurses, from the people doing the stuff that put you to sleep. I forget the name.
Anesthesia.
The anesthesia. All of those people are focusing on one thing when it comes to keeping this person alive. The same should be applied toward a claim. All truths are parallel. Once again,
man, I'm a firm believer in that, firm supporter of that. Man, I really do appreciate you coming on and giving us the insight there. I could sit here and talk with you all day. I really could. So what I'd really like is for you to, give us a couple of points that you feel are vital. That if somebody was watching, that they should take away these points. That'll help better themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, overall, I would just say money isn't real. Once you are able to say that in your head, a lot of other decisions start to come into play, especially when it comes to relationships. Instead of trying to monetize the relationship immediately, say money isn't real, become this person's friend, and then watch the money come. When it comes to working, trading your time for money versus trading money for the results, money isn't real. It's what somebody else, a reasonable person, would spend based off of you being able to help them and the inability to replace you based off of your specialized knowledge. Money isn't real. What I do is I use insurance vehicles in order to help people make money, make babies. What they're able to do is put this tangible money and convert it into a digital form and then borrow against it and get the tangible out. So I like to call them twin babies. You have money earning tax-free interest for the rest of your life in this digital form, and then you have this tangible money, which is the tangible reflection of this digital money in the real world, able to put more money in investing. Like, would you hire somebody for $30,000 if they made you $90,000? Would you buy a piece of equipment for $100,000 if it made you $300,000? That's when you're working with somebody who understands that money isn't real. So now let's make magic. That's what working with somebody who specializes in that does. Because the way I see it is, you don't have to choose between being a real estate investor. You don't have to choose between owning a roof in our contracting company. You don't have to choose between just being a public adjuster or independent adjuster. Let me help you with all of this money that's coming in. Let's turn it digital and then turn it back tangible again. Just remember, money isn't real, and you need to be working with somebody who understands what I'm saying when I say that, and actually help you out. Because like I said at the opening of this podcast, most people, the people who you normally go to for advice and it normally works, if they've never made nowhere near the amount of money that you're bringing in now, I'm sorry, their information is flawed. No matter their best intentions, their information is flawed. So that's my main point I want to leave people with. Money isn't real, and you need to work with somebody who understands what I mean when I say that. If I'm telling you this and you're like, whatever, that's crazy. Of course money is real. Then you're not talking to the right people.
Man, I really do appreciate you coming on, man. That is some good stuff. If you've been watching, you have got a amazing in-depth claims, licensure, religion, all different kinds of stuff. I'm not going to harp too much on our sponsors because we spent about 15, 20 minutes on our sponsors today, but I will give one more shout out. Thank you so much for our sponsors here, Roofing Supply Incorporated. You can buy your shingles here in the Houston marketplace from me, 210-919-8987. Looking for a good public adjuster, appraiser, overall non-litigations, claims handling, West Group Public Adjuster is a way to go. You can get information from West Group here on Facebook, or you can contact myself through my rep card, which is also another one of our sponsors. Again, it was a live stream today with the Rand Man. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
And don't forget your honorary additional sponsor for the day, Shield Wolf Strongholds, SHIELDWOLF Strongholds. We help you make money, make babies.